Welcome back to the Halloween 365 podcast, the only place where you can get Halloween 365 days out of the year.
That is right. We are horror 24/7 and Halloween 365.
See, there it is. I always mess it up. I'm just going to let you do it because I can't remember it for the life
We'll
of
just
me.
after you give our intro, I'll just say that, and then we'll.
Yeah. Go.
I like
go
how we're
forward.
discussing it on the fucking.
Yeah,
show.
I know. How's everybody doing out there today? Hopefully good. We're late, and that is on me. So
We are late.
that is my fault.
I'll say
We had some things
I'm
change.
glad to be back.
Oh yeah,
He's back.
Yeah.
Oh, well, for those who don't know, our boy's been indisposed for a little bit.
Past
Yeah,
2 episodes.
Yeah, I think so. 2 weeks, about 2-3 weeks.
Just like a dead body, they cut me open. So
They cut him open. Well, hopefully you're healing up, and you'll be joining us here in the future going forward.
perfect time.
Well,
So what? You missed a couple episodes, and then your appendix said pull me out, and you had surgery and had that taken out, and now you're stapled together.
I look like Frankenstein from the waist down, ladies.
so
He's relying on office supplies to keep his stomach from busting open.
ladies, he's keeping
Ladies.
Staples in business, but I mean that's something.
Yeah.
Office Max. So how does it? I have to ask. I've never had a major surgery like that. Would you say that's major? I don't even know anymore. I mean, they ripped something out of you, right?
They made it seem major because they were like, "Oh, it's about to burst. We better get you in there." And I'm like, "Huh? What?" And
In my opinion, that's major. If it's gonna
Yeah.
explode and kill you, then yeah.
that's what they're saying. There's like, "Oh, you can go into septic and die." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But the scariest part about it, because apparently it's not too major. They done a number on me though, because I've been weak as hell all week. But the scariest part about it, if you haven't been, and we know that Justin has been, I don't know if you were already loopy by the time you got in there, but when they're wheeling you into the operating room and you see every single little fucking gadget that you know they're going to be cutting you open with, that was the scariest shit. This is happening, and then they put gas masks on me. I said, "Can we wait a sec?" And that was it.
Man, so how fast was it? Was it like instantaneous? Like as soon as the mask goes on, that's it. That's a fear of mine, by the way.
Well, no, so they put the mask on and they were talking to me. They said, "How you feeling?" "Well, doc," and then that was it.
Yeah, so mine didn't. I got to see all the instruments and shit whenever I had the plate put in my foot. But whenever I had my elbow, that's whenever I got rushed into the hospital and had I was all fucked up on morphine because they gave me morphine in the ambulance. They gave me morphine on the helicopter, and then I was like in and out on the helicopter because of so much morphine. And then, but apparently my elbow was the size of my knee or some shit like that.
Oh my god!
So then they pushed me through, take me to the exam room, and they're getting ready for operation. I think. No. I was messed up on morphine. I woke up in the bed, and then I was like moving my arm around, and I shouldn't have because I had just like pieces of bone floating around in my arm. And then they made me pass out on morphine whenever. No, it was Dilaudid. They gave me like fucking Dilaudid, and yeah, I did the same thing. They gave me the shot. They had a mask on me, and then he was like, same thing to Jeremy. How you doing? And I went, and then I woke up 5 hours later. They put me under for a while. Like they had tubes running into my fucking throat and shit to keep me.
That's how I came to getting the camera pulled out of my throat.
Ugh. See,
Yeah.
that to me, didn't you say so? Was it confirmed that you may or may not have thrown up on a nurse?
They wouldn't tell me. They
They
wouldn't tell
wouldn't tell you. Of course they
I,
wouldn't.
it's funny that happened because it happened to me too. As soon as they put me in the exam room off the helicopter, I said, "I'm gonna throw up," and she was like, "I'll get a pan," and she ran away. I remember it. She ran out of the room, and then she come back and she goes, "Don't worry, I got it." And I sat up and went bleh, all over.
Just heels clagging.
Yeah, I'll get a pan.
Just go.
Good God.
Yeah, man. They tried to tell me I
no.
didn't, but I distinctly remember them pulling the camera out, and then as soon as that happened, me going, "Eh," and then, so as disgusting as this may sound to people listening, if you can't see the video, my goatee's kind of long, so I was like, well, I don't know if I threw up or not. So I smelt my goatee, and if it didn't go on the woman, I threw up on myself. So
Hey, that's something. They cleaned you up all night. They got you fixed up. Oof. Well, I'll tell you, man. That's a fear of mine. I don't like the idea of surgery. I don't like the fear of being put under in medical induced situations because one off kilter thing could put you down for good. I know the odds are slim to none, but still, it happens and it's scary.
They gave me the option of having a nerve numbing needle put in me before I had surgery, and like it's a really fine tip needle, but the goddamn thing's like this long. So they're trying to get it into your nerve, and then so basically it puts my arm that they operated on completely numb for 24 hours. So I had to sign a paper saying that if my feeling never came back in my arm,
That you
then
wouldn't
I wouldn't
sue.
sue them. Yeah.
Yeah. Malpractice suits. Well, Jerem, it's good to have you back, though, man. I hope you're healing up all nice.
oh yeah, and here's a good little transition spot because it's a fear of mine too, like you said with the getting put under because you might never come back and then you're a ghost.
Yeah, and then you're leaving EVPs everywhere.
Oh yeah,
Even EVPs popping up in graveyards,
Man.
scaring people when they're drinking White Claws.
Oh, poor old Gabe. Shout out to White Claw Gabe. Fuck, baby, fuck. Okay.
Fuck, baby.
Yes, so
Guys,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, we made a Twitter page now. So if you guys are at the beginning of this podcast, go get us on Twitter. Go hit us up on Twitter. It is it's Halloween 365 pod. And you'll find us on there. And then you got us on YouTube. Follow us, like, subscribe. Hopefully this video will record so we can put another one on there.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing a Halloween news segment. So get ready for that too. Just
And
want to get that out of the way.
I do apologize for any of these video issues. We think that they work, and then for whatever reason, sometimes someone's audio doesn't record or someone's video doesn't record. I'm figuring this out, people. We'll always be bringing you the audio one way or the other.
Oh yeah, the audio is going to come, but it's the video that we're working on. Considering that if anybody hasn't listened as far back, we are in 2 different states on 2 different sides of the country. So if you guys haven't listened to our original stuff, this is your first episode. Chad, the man in the middle here. Oh, you probably can't see it. Well, the deepest voice on the mic. He's in Arizona. And then Jeremy and I are both in Virginia. So we are doing all of this as a challenge.
The old mountains.
The good old mountains where them ghosts roam.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Fact
Go ahead.
real quick.
Yeah, shoot.
So for you people, a little quick mountain fact.
Oh
They're
no.
called haints around here. Haint. Not anymore, but apparently the old timers called them
Okay.
haints.
Tom Hanks. Okay.
So,
Tell us about the Hanks. Yes.
Oh, did you have a haint?
No,
story?
I want you to tell us about the Hanks.
I was going to tell you an interesting story that I had heard recently about an individual. This has nothing to do with haints. I mean, I guess it is a spooky surprise. So, I was doing some research, and originally I was going to do a little fun segment. It was a little the origin of the jack-o'-lantern, like where it got its name. But instead, you guys already knew about that, and I feel like the mass majority of our listeners probably already know about that. And if you don't, you can just look it up yourself. But anyway, it got me thinking about a story that I heard when I was younger about my old neighbor. I won't say any names because I don't want to insult anyone or anything like that. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. But anyway, anyway, this is a very interesting story. Every Halloween, this gentleman would lay a pumpkin out at the end of his driveway. And, he would use it just to, light it and decor and all that jazz. And someone every year would steal his pumpkins. Every single year. So, eventually, the gentleman decided, I'm going to take a shit in this jack-o'-lantern. He shat in the jack-o'-lantern. And sure enough, the next day it was gone. Someone stole that jack-o'-lantern.
Who took shit on me?
So I just wanted to put that out there. This Halloween, if you're gonna go out and steal someone's jack-o'-lantern, you may want to check that shit before doing it. Now I know the odds are
check
slim
that
enough.
shit.
Yeah.
You know what's fucking hilarious to me about this entire story is that somewhere in this hillbilly ass county, the section of Virginia, there is somebody else with the opposite fucking story that they've told for years, where they're like, man, we were riding around and I was stealing people's pumpkins and one had a big pile of shit in it. I had it all over my hands.
So that's what I can't figure out. It's like, first of all, it had to be some teenagers. Who the fuck just steals pumpkins?
Either that or some hillbilly fucked up on pills and they're just riding around.
Yeah, they're just riding around taking people's pumpkins.
Snorting lines and stealing shitty pumpkins.
Put another line up on the dash.
What are you going to do with them? Are you that lazy? Like, I ain't going to go get me a pumpkin. Or...
Maybe it was like they would like steal
Pre-sell
one,
them.
go down the road, and then throw it at a house.
Maybe,
This ain't the fucking 50s. We're not in fucking Stand By Me.
I don't know. Like, maybe they were just like flipping them or something. Maybe they were like trying to get more money for pills, and they're like, "Hey, let's just steal some pumpkins pre-made. The kids will love it." Snickers inside. It's a lovely little treat.
You know what I would love if they would like steal them and then ride around in their trucks drinking and like, okay, let's throw this one, and then throw it, and then all of a sudden it exploded and shit just covered the car.
Oh God, man! I wish I could see the aftermath of that. Like, I would love to have seen the aftermath.
I guess it just depends on the consistency. If it was like a runny poop, or if it was a solid
sure of it.
log or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
I would have made sure that thing was soup.
Jeremy would have planned ahead like a week, and like
yeah.
had a whole
The bomb.
fiesta
Just
of Taco Bell everywhere.
Laxatives, Taco Bell.
Oh,
It would look like he poured a bucket of water in there, but it was really poop. Sloshing around while he's running down the yard. The dude that steals it.
Halloween 365, everyone. This is our show.
Wait, so last question about that. I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Now that, because Justin pointed something out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Did he shit in it and then carry it down there? Or
Oh, dude, I have no idea. I would assume that's what he did.
Imagine Chad looks out his window and there's a guy sitting on his porch in the dark taking his shit into the jack-o'-lantern.
Howdy, neighbor! Happy Halloween!
The paper's up.
So I think this story happened before I was. I was probably before I was born. So I think this happened probably in the late
before you were
80s,
born?
early
Fuck.
90s. Yeah.
I
so-
just picture this guy hovering over the jack-o'-lantern now, looking like me, myself, and Irene when he's got that.
When
He's
he's
taking
Oh,
the
in
shit
the
on
newspaper, yeah. But my parents always told me the story. They're like, "You will never believe what so and so did next door." And I'm like, "What?
Damn.
Like, what did they do?" And they're like, "They shat in a pumpkin." And I was like, "Is this true?" And they're like, "Yes, he admitted it." Like, the dude openly admitted. He's like, "Yeah, I did it."
I was
Do it
hoping
again,
this
dude.
happened. I was hoping this happened while you were, alive.
Like a teenager? No. It probably. I don't know. If it did, I don't remember it. But I remember hearing the stories, and I'm like, "Why have I never told this story on the podcast?" And I'm like, "It's a good opportunity to tell it."
Oh yeah.
But yeah, shitting in pumpkins, people. That's a new tradition in the Dooley house.
Arizona won't know what hit them.
They'll never know.
This is how we do it in
Oh,
Virginia,
no.
damn it.
Daddy, my pumpkin stinks.
Hold out your stockings, kids. It's Christmas. No, it's awful.
What's
It's
Sam
awful,
Hain bring you?
but yeah, today we've got some interesting things going on.
Podcast ghost hunting, if you will.
Podcast ghost hunting. Taps is back, and we've been watching a lot of it, and we've been wanting to do a reaction video to some of the newer stuff, but we haven't had a chance because there's so many rules and restrictions that you can't. There's no way to capture the video without some kind of legal.
Just get down to it. Discovery Plus says, hell no, they won't let us stream.
Yeah, no, they don't want that. So we figured, fuck them. We'll do it another way. We'll find EVPs out on the web and videos out on the web and just kind of depict them ourselves. And for those who don't know what an EVP is, Justin, do you want to take it away? Or
Electronic voice phenomenon.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it dates back pretty early. There have been recording. Well, I mean, what could really be considered an EVP? Because they claim that there are some pottery pieces that if you run it under a like a record player needle, that you can hear voices, distinct, faint voices. So is that technically an EVP?
Oh, that's strange. I've never heard of that.
Like hear the voice of like an Egyptian or some shit like that?
Well, I guess day recordings, but now
you'd have to get it in the grooves because apparently the pottery holds sounds. The clay holds sounds.
That's
It's like
interesting.
it's like that bridge in Ohio, supposedly, like kind of like that. Is that what you're talking about? You drive across it, and like you can hear. Anyway,
Talk to you. Jump.
I don't know, but
That's
you can hear
awful.
years of music.
Right.
Here's you see.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'm rambling. Just go.
Anyway.
EVPs.
Yeah, so not the same kind of EVPs that we're talking about. Electronic voice phenomenon. You can do it with just about anything.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of ghost hunters do it. If anybody out there is a fan of horror, ghost hunting, paranormal, travel channel, any of that, you've seen it, and we're going to review some today, random ones that we.
Yeah, so some of these I'll have to trim up because there's some long ones in here, man. There's some that are like 10 to 11 minutes long. So to be fair, forgive us, but I don't know exactly at what point some of these instances occur, I guess. So we're just going to listen to maybe like the first 3 or 4 minutes of it to see if we can kind of pull anything from it.
Yeah. If
It might
anybody
all
has
be a
any
bust. I don't know.
just straight audio clips that you'd like to send us, Halloween365@yahoo.com. Send it to us there. We'll listen to them on the show. Actual clips that you might have.
Yeah,
Because we
videos,
can't find
anything.
them on the friggin' internet. It's not. So Halloween365, spell it all out. You don't have to use any numbers at yahoo.com. Send it to us.
So before we get started, I just want to ask you guys a few questions. And one of those things is, what do you really think an EVP is? Like, do you think it's just the human ear can only pick up on so many frequencies as it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's just a bunch of just hoopla? Like, do you think that maybe it's just, I don't know, your next door neighbor getting hammered? Like, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, there are some EVPs that I've heard on shows and such that sound really clear. So I don't see how you could pick something like that up in like a basement
Yeah, that's a fair case in point.
or whenever you have EVPs and they're answering back, where they do that whole sensory
that's
thing.
true.
They
Yeah.
close their eyes and their ears, and then they're just like repeating what they're hearing out of the EVP.
Yeah.
And somebody asking questions in the other room.
Germ?
I mean, I think it's exactly what it is, man. These are our animal ears. What animals can normally hear, but we can't. This is it. This is our. Sodus. Yeah, like, or raging Rhonda weeping over in the corner. You know, I mean,
What is this,
it's got
Garbage
ghosts.
Pail Kids?
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we make T-shirts. Raging Rhonda and Dead Donnie, was that the other one? Just kidding.
But
Get
no,
somebody to
like
draw
for
those
real,
up
it's
for us.
yeah. So it's really is our way to be able to capture spirits, and for their way to be like, I'm sure, you know, once they notice, oh, this, you know, he's holding this, they can hear me. That's their way to contact, and you know, it all clicks. Unless I guess you believe in the
Do you think that it's
repetitiveness of a
that?
spirit.
Do you think that it's that they're like, oh, I see him holding something, I can just talk into it? If they're from centuries back, that's not the case. They're just screaming shit at you.
Oh yeah,
And you're
no.
just picking it up.
I'm saying maybe some of them catch on to, like with the lights, the ones that have the lights on it. Think about it, even centuries back, as soon as they see that they're talking, they see a light coming, or it could just be them just being like, "Hey, can you hear me? Guess what? There's a fucking demon over here, man."
Or it could be nothing at all.
Could be. So we've picked out 3. Justin did some research on some of these, and I think what we'll do. What was that? I didn't click that. There's something going on
Jeremy's house.
So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and play one of these. I think this is the right one. This one is apparently the oldest EVP recorded. Is that correct? Was that what you?
Yes, actually, I did have. Do not longer have. So this was actually in a shock doc that I watched on Discovery Channel. It is some of the first serious ghost hunters before Ed and Lorraine Warren, and this is one of the first recorded EVPs. It is a man that was studying deep into. We've talked about him before, and I just can't remember his name. He come from like Germany or somewhere around there to the U.S. and started living here, but he got really into the paranormal. Essentially, this recording is him speaking with a psychic, and they're doing an EVP session and talking to the ghost of his dead father.
Okay, let's take a listen.
Yes, if you speak just as you do usually, it'll be quite right.
Pause real quick, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to make this clear for anybody that's listening, and I guess for you guys too. So you'll hear the louder voice that sounds more prominent. That would be the actual ghost hunting dude. The whisper is supposed to be the fucking EVP of somebody talking back to him. Which, if it's real, it's full sentences, which I've never heard of.
I've never heard that before either. Well, this is my first time hearing this, and if that is, I mean, like Jerm was saying, if that's the that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I can't distinguish. I think I heard the word something about the children in there. I don't know for sure. It's very hard. It's even hard to hear the questions that may be being asked.
Yeah,
if
well,
there's
I mean,
even
it's
questions.
really old audio, so
yeah,
it's a wonder that it's even found.
We'll move along here and get a hit play on this.
Okay.
Well, that's very curious. I heard, as it were, Peter's voice, and thought you were imitating her. Oh, did she want to come in for a little bit? Sandwiching you? Oh, yes. No. But that's most interesting because
So I just want to point out something. Does it sound to you like he's having a full-on conversation?
It's a full conversation, and it doesn't seem like a bad one because he's laughing about stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what's throwing me off. So this ghost hunter individual, can he hear this with his naked ear? He has to. Right?
So this is either them recording through something.
Yeah.
Or this is doing a recording of him talking to the psychic and she's channeling the dad.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So like she's taken over by the dad and she's talking, or this is
kind of like in Insidious when she puts the mask on.
Well, I was just...
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Simply heard 2 or 3 of her characteristic whispers, and wondered if she was having through the woman's face. Oh yes. The important thing now is to get a good a few minutes from you. I think it's quite. Yes, there's no need for effort. You're quite distinct to that always. She is there, yes. Have you met him again recently? Yes, it will be very welcome.
I don't know. Did y'all hear? Because to me, it sounded like he said, "I want to say what's on my mind."
I heard something very similar to that, but I heard the word "save," like something "save." Okay. And I'm curious. I wonder what he said when he said, "Oh, there's no need for that."
Yeah, I heard that too, and I was like, okay.
I wonder what he's getting at. I wonder what the receiving of that is. Like, I wish there was a transcript. I don't know if anybody out there has ever decoded this into a transcript manner. It'd probably be very difficult.
He kept a lot of journals, so I would say that they probably have that written down.
I'm very fascinated by this individual, and I kind of want to do some more research on him. Do you have their name by any chance?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, I have it. 1 second.
This is like, man, I'll say this. This is definitely out there on the scale. Like, I feel like we should have saved this one for last at this point. I didn't know. But my God,
We might be delivering a stinker with the last one.
yeah, I don't
compared to
know.
this.
I know I haven't listened to any of these EVPs. This is my first time, so I don't know what we're going to be getting delivered. But I will admit, this is if this is legitimate. What is that noise?
The dog and the cat are fighting. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's fair enough. Anyway, yeah, this is crystal clear. Well, relatively speaking for EVP.
I have the rundown for
Right.
it.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear a little bit more about that.
So, this specific EVP, the first spirit voice was recorded on tape by Reverend Drayton Thomas while working with Gladys Osborne, a famous medium of the 1940s. So she channels his deceased father during a seance in, once again, the 1940s. And psychologist Raymond Bayless and psychic Adelia von, I cannot pronounce the last name, researched the recording of the EVP from hearing voices around them. So they were hearing voices around them actively while this was going on, too. Attempts were made to record these voices, but the attempts had failed. A cord connected to the microphone led to a tape recorder outside of the cabinet, which was connected to a loudspeaker, and they could hear whispers while the channeling was happening.
That's interesting. So I'm assuming the whispers that we're hearing now was the actual medium.
Yeah, that's her channeling.
Okay.
But if you hear her talking like a full conversation, and then you hear other stuff that sounds fainter in the background, which they said that they couldn't pick it up, but they said that while she was channeling, there were other voices around the room.
Oh, that's interesting.
They had two psychics there, a psychologist and this reverend that was into the other side of the rainbow.
The spectrum there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think?
To me, that is let's just say if this is legit and there's no BS behind it, that is the most horrifying EVP
Yeah.
EVP I've ever heard. Fluid conversating. Like, okay, if they done this back then, what's going on today? Is it really all just a publicity stunt to be on TV?
Yeah. Yeah.
EVPs out there that are like this, similar to this.
So for me, this is one of those situations where it's very hard to say whether or not it actually is an EVP, where it is communicating via, someone else. But I guess technically, at the end of the day, is a medium technically just a more physical, tangible form of an electronic voice phenomenon? But there's no electronic there. It's just more of a voice phenomenon, a supernatural voice phenomenon.
Yeah. They're like a translator or
I don't know. Yeah, it's very it's very strange, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if I would consider it I guess it's an EVP because it's recorded, but
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point.
it's kind of
Well,
like the auto writing too, though. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's
The
another one.
automatic writing that they do. I mean, because how can you prove that you were possessed? You could just be writing whatever you want.
100%. Well, I'll say this too. I think that a lot of individuals who do this type of stuff, I would love to get a medium on the show, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that I think we've been talking about.
Working on that.
I want to pick their brain, like just get in there a little bit, just nice and deep, like. I'm curious.
I'm with you on that.
Scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys rate this?
I think it's real, but I don't know what to make of it. If we put it in the EVP category, it is the most full sentenced EVP. That's a conversation. But if you don't, if you're just putting it into the category of a seance, I don't know. I'm gonna give it 7.5.
Wow. Okay, that's high.
8. 7.5. No, we'll do 7.5.
Okay, that's still pretty high.
Yeah. I think. Because I do believe it is real. Just because back when people would do this, there was no BS into it. They're like, we're going to get this medium in here. In fact, we're going to get 2 in here. Oh, and then we're going to do this. So I do believe it's real. As far as an EVP, I don't know if I would necessarily call it that, just because it's getting translated through someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's being recorded.
Yeah, I mean it is. So
it's a catch-22.
So in that case, since this was recorded, this is technically an EVP. He agrees. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he knows all about it.
Oh man.
But I would say 7.5, 8 maybe.
Okay.
7.5.
I'm gonna have to go. Just like I said, it's a catch-22. Definitely a story that can convince me, but I wasn't there, so I don't know, and we'll never know. So I got to go with. Is it creepy? Yeah, it's creepy. Is it real? I don't know. Could be. It sounds like it's
There's apparently several of these recordings on reel-to-reel tape, and that's.
I want to go back. I want to dive into this dude's catalog of this just to see. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Look up.
It wouldn't even go that high though, but it's one of those things. It's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you'd have to look up the psychics because she did a lot of this, which is Bayless that I was talking about. Gladys Osborne and Salazar. Frederick Jurgensen is a Swedish man that also did this, and he has a shit ton of stuff that would probably be something really good to look at. Old Jurgensen believed highly in EVPs.
This could turn into a whole segment. I love this stuff, man. This is wow. So we got a few more. In here.
Onward.
We'll have to keep one of these brief because, it's a long boy. I don't know. Should I save the long boy for the end, or should I save? Or should I just do it? Pull the trigger. All right.
Yeah, give us
so this next one actually comes from an old Coast to Coast AM radio show. I don't know if anybody knows of that, but it was with Art Bell apparently back in the day. And this was a caller that called in. I'm not going to play his clip because I don't know if that would get us dinged on Spotify or anything, but I will jump forward to the actual EVP. So here we go. So, there's definitely a voice in there.
It sounds like a child or a female.
But it also sounds like somebody is plunging a toilet.
I was thinking moving furniture around, like Sunday
Okay.
school just let out, and she's moving those metal fold-up chairs around the room.
I need 2 strong boys. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can I get 2 strong young men to help? Fucking hell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what it is. They need 2 strong boys to help them
That's
move
it.
chairs. I
Ah,
don't know. We just
Ghost
busted that open.
busted. Ghost busted, baby.
It's fun
Um,
thing because I was thinking about around rapidly in a bathtub.
oh yeah, that's interesting. There's definitely some water in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the gentleman who I like I said, I want to play the Art Bell clip just to give everybody more context of what the hell's going on, but I don't want to get dinged. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna do it. We're not gonna get dinged for that.
Nah.
Tune out if this kind of thing disturbs you. It might. So this first one is going to require some special attention, right?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Oh, I was like, "This is the clearest EVP I've ever heard."
Easily the oddest recording that
Yeah,
we've ever
man.
recorded, even ever heard. It's just so different from anything we've played.
Why?
The
Why?
length of it, for one, it's almost 2 minutes long.
Oh, my goodness.
And at the time this was recorded, nobody was in the room. What had happened is I had been recording at the upper level of this mental hospital for a while.
Right.
And my battery started going low on my laptop.
Right.
So I moved the laptop downstairs into this room that was way off at the very end of the building and plugged it in and set it on a shelf and just let it sit there and record. And after I did that, I started walking out of the room and went outside, and everybody else had followed us out there, and everybody was sitting outside at the time this was recorded. And it sat there silent for about 7 minutes. And then all of a sudden, after about 7 minutes, you hear what can only be described as a child. And followed by the child, you hear an older man, and then the child again. And the child keeps going on and on.
This was recorded again in a completely empty room.
Yes.
And
yes,
there's
completely empty
there's
room.
no chance that conversation going on outside that room by any of you or anybody else could have been what we're about to hear.
Oh, no, definitely. And for one, it is, to me, definitely a child. There's no question that
You had no children anywhere near?
we never have children.
Sounds like
We
Larry
don't allow
David.
anyone under the age of
Doesn't it?
18
Yeah, it
anywhere
does.
near our investigations. The other odd thing is for about 15 to 20 seconds at the end of this recording, you hear water, and you hear it splashing and splashing back and forth and almost a thrashing sound. And then you're going to hear a thud, and the sound just dies. You hear nothing else after that. In fact, the next thing you'd hear is me coming in to pick up the laptop and move it.
So that's interesting because we clearly heard that water.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing that stood out to me was the plunging sound.
The voice to me. When was this clip done?
Had to be pretty modern. Well, Art
'Cause he
Bell
said
passed away. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I would assume probably mid 2000s maybe.
So there is either 1970s or 1980s after school special called Once Upon a Midnight Scary, hosted by Vincent Price. He picks 3 books for children, and then they do like a short little live action for it. And the
Yeah.
first one is The Ghost Belonged to Me by Richard Peck. And the girl in sounds exactly like the girl that we. And that's the only thing that's kind of got me like, what? Like,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, the same harrowing sound of the voice, the echo.
The octave range.
Yes.
That's interesting. I don't know. I just now noticed that the title. I'm stupid for not reading this earlier, but it says the title of this EVP is Child Drowning Exchange.
See, that's
Well,
what. Yeah. So, like,
I mean, there you go.
Oh, there we go. What can you do?
if you remember The Grudge, whenever the child's getting drowned and the kicking and splashing, that's what it made me think
Yeah.
of when I heard the water.
You know what? So are you thinking that maybe this gentleman may have doctored this sound a little bit? kind of for to get a pop out of
I
someone.
think he just like recorded bath time at his household for his children, and he's just like,
Maybe he did. Yeah.
Susie, where's your ducky? No. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, because the first part that does, it sounds ghostly, and even the water part, but it's just a little odd. And I mean, I know everybody says this because this is how it happens. As soon as you're starting to walk back in the room, it stops. Of course, because if they're there, they can hear you. But I don't know. I want to believe.
I still believe.
He still believes. I don't know. This one's a tough one for me because maybe it is doctored a little bit.
It was too muffled for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear it, but it's not very distinct.
The thing is, the fact that it was on Art Bell's radio show, and I'm not insulting Art Bell at all. I just know
we are.
A lot of his stuff was manufactured for entertainment purposes. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. So to me, it's like, I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I'm going to give this one a lower one. I'm going to give this one a 2. Yeah, the audio's there, but there's just nothing there.
It's got a 3 from me.
I was going to give it a 4, so.
Okay.
The thing about it is, at this point in time, people were trying their best to fake and milk the shit out of the paranormal. I mean, look at the friggin' Warrens for crying out loud.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about on the Warrens thing, go back to our Warren episode, because I'm not repeating it.
No. Let's just say I've lost pretty much all respect for the Warrens and all the. I just disagree with everything about them.
Especially if it's 110% factual.
So this is on the weaker side of the voting for us.
You're definitely on the shallow end of the pool. Honestly, the more that I hear this stuff, the more that I want to give that first audio we listened to an upvote, because I don't feel like they were trying to hide anything. They were giving us the raw, pure. It's like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think that they even had the knowledge of, hey, let's fake this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They're just like, they probably didn't even think anything was going to fucking happen.
I'm
they probably
actually
played
gonna
it
go
back and we're like, whoa!
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to go up a tick and give it a 7 just for the pure fact that it feels pure. Mm-hmm. It feels like there was no intentions to do anything fraudulent.
Yeah. Plus, back then, people are already going to say you're a nut job for doing it. So
exactly.
They're not going to go out of their way to fake it.
Exactly. 100%. So I got one more here. This one's the longest one. This one's 11 minutes long, and we're not going to play it because we would run out of time. I don't even know exactly where at in this clip there's supposed to be some kind of paranormal happening. Justin, did you happen? This is one that you linked over to me. I don't know. Was there a story with this one?
No, not a story with it.
Strange. We'll give it a listen. We'll see if we can find anything.
You got ghosts.
Oh, wait, that ain't it. That's not it at all. That's something completely different, people. That's something completely different. Did I actually upload this one? Let me just double check. I may not have uploaded this one to the clipboards over here. Or maybe I did. Or maybe I didn't. Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Okay, hold the fucking phone for a minute, because I mean, we're 48 seconds in on this, and I've already heard what sounds like heavy breathing, a growl, and a washing machine.
I was gonna say either a washing, like
I can't. There's something going on
I
in the
didn't hear
background.
anything except for what sounded like the little metronome balls on
Oh
the
yeah, I could see
psychiatrist's
that. I
desk.
could totally see that.
I didn't hear a growl. I didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear that?
I
It
didn't
was like
hear
early
anything.
on. Oh, maybe
I
I'm
heard
tripping.
I heard maybe like a breath, but
It was like a
What
really
What I
heavy-
heard, it sounded like somebody was grabbing the camera and
maybe
fucking the
to
mic
stop-
up.
Yeah. Well, let's keep playing this one for a little while. Like I said, I'm not going to play this whole thing.
Right.
Okay. Now, the further we listen to that, there's just silence. What?
I mean,
I don't really know.
Anything on it, honestly.
I don't know. It sounds like a dog barking kind of in the background. You know, kind of like
Maybe I'm freaking out, I guess.
I heard it's what sounded like something getting slammed or something, like a pan maybe.
yeah. Well, there's something that caught me was that ch. There's a brief moment where it sounds like it sort of stops, switches. Yeah, that was weird. Now I don't even know if that's what we're supposed to be listening to, but I just found that just stood out to me. Maybe I'm analyzing it too deeply.
I don't hear much. I'm gonna give it a 2. I don't.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah. I feel like this is one of those ones you like.
Yeah, something is off-putting about this one. I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit in, about 9 minutes in, and I'm gonna play like maybe 30, 40 seconds worth, and then we'll switch it over and call it a day with that.
And the only thing that they do that they couldn't use because it wasn't, there was no cement at the time, and so they couldn't use anything but the same material that was used in the original. But that they could be deemed historical. So they didn't use too much because he had to be really how things. Because you know, for just the actual. They were like, I want to take the hemlock. And because they got the hemlock from the surrounding of the bridge down and the
I
water.
assume that that's somebody asking questions,
Yeah,
and
that's-
then the other
yeah.
voice is because the other voice, the one that's answering, sounds like Reagan from The Exorcist as a ghost.
Yeah,
That
I don't know. That was
familiar.
that was a little weird.
Well,
It sounds a little bit more like the first one.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
bump it up. That's gonna get a 6 for me.
I'm going to just go to a 5. That's it.
I'm gonna stick around 5 myself because it's too noisy. It's too
Yeah,
damn
It's real
noisy.
noisy, but it's awfully weird.
That's interesting.
But
yeah.
before we transition to the last portion of our show, there is something that I wanted to show you guys because I thought it was notable. We do have some ghost footage that we were wanting to get
cool.
into, but we don't have enough time to get into all of it. So I did want to show you guys a couple of things.
Yeah.
Or just one thing. Okay.
While we're
It's
getting
gonna-
that up.
It's old, so it's gonna be
Okay.
really blurry, but you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we've got it's a little Japanese girl in a mirror, right?
Oh, yes, yes. I have seen this before.
Well, let's do
This
it
is
again.
this is old footage, so just by analyzing, I don't think that it could be fucked with, but Chad, you could probably prove me wrong. I don't think that this is footage that could be fucked with.
子が母親の方を向き、一瞬鏡の方へ振り返った。その次の
So
瞬
for
間、
those who
君の目に映り込んだ
I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'm working on this video thing.
Yeah,
The little girl, she's a little girl. It looks like she's preparing for like maybe a beauty pageant.
she's at a vanity. Yeah, she turns and look.
Yeah, so this is weird. She turns her head away from the mirrors, but her face stays in the mirror.
This isn't one of the new ones. This is an old video, and it stays.
It like freeze frames, but her head keeps turning.
It blinked. It fucking blinked, dude.
So
Hang on.
So
Watch. If I can take it back far enough.
Yeah, it's-
It
probably have to go back to like
fucking
30 seconds.
There we go. Watch its eyes. It fucking
it blinks. It blinks. It straight up blinks. Now, I never noticed that before. That's new. That's new. Send me the link to this. I'm going to drop it in our description for the podcast. For those who are listening and not watching the video aspect of this, click the link that's in the description on Spotify, whatever, Anchor, yada yada. Yeah, just watch it and watch the mirror. So here's my opinion about that, really quick. I don't know if that. I mean, I'm sure anything and everything can be faked nowadays, but that was shot on what looks like a mini DV camera.
It's old. I mean, it looks like shit that we used to film with.
Yeah, and I don't know. Those things are really, 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 really hard to edit. And back in the day, Firewire cords weren't exactly what I would say easy to come by for a cheap price. So I don't know if anybody's just going out
It's the
there.
top comment on the YouTube video. Older ghost videos are more believable because of the lack of technology used to tamper with them.
I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's still this video has always kind of frightened me. There's another one that frightens me too, and I'll show you guys after the cast is over. But yeah.
It didn't mess with. I mean, like I didn't think much about it until I saw the blink, dude.
The blink's weird.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's
the blink
weird.
changes things for me.
The blink changes a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I would think it's real just because in multiple cultures. It's a gateway, man. It's a gateway.
Mirrors freak me out. Like I just don't like them. There's some people in not in my family, but there's some people that I know who say that they will not have mirrors in their house.
I mean, they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be a gateway. It's supposed to be a lot of things that can get trapped in mirrors. So who knows?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Narcissist.
Moving on, Justin. Let's get this new segment underway. Do we have any news you want to call it?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a new segment. We are going to be doing the Halloween 365 news. Why wouldn't we do the Halloween 365 news whenever we are the Halloween 365 year-round podcast, giving you everything that you need about all of the things that are Halloween? So, first time doing this, we're going to jump into some things, and we're in early January too, so you wouldn't think that we would have a lot of, or actually February, have a lot of news containing things to do with this year's Halloween. Usually it's stuff that's carried over. But for instance, one of the things on Halloween news that we've got as a breaking headline is that the town of Salem in Massachusetts is expanding its Halloween safety footprint. Essentially, Thursday night, the city council took its first 2 votes needed to expand the city's safety enhancement zone, which has days of debate going on, where they are going to, because in Salem, it is one of the most visited places in Massachusetts, especially around Halloween. It is like the Halloween destination. It's like Halloween Horror Nights. So they're wanting to try to make it safer since COVID doesn't look like it's going anywhere. What that could impact, that's a stay tuned kind of thing, because everybody likes to have their costumes or faces painted, and nobody wants to constantly be wearing a mask. But I guess that's just going to depend on what's going to happen. So that's under review. There's also something that was released in Halloween news, which is, if anybody is interested or not, me personally, I will not be getting it, but it is called Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. It is Tim Burton's take on Nightmare Before Christmas through Sally's eyes. That's the whole book. Yes, roll your eyes. I see you both. But anyways, that book has recently come out, and you can pick it up now. There is going to be a new series of Funko soda figures, including Frankenstein's monster, Gizmo, as well as Sam from Trick or Treat. So if you've never seen these, they come with little Funko figures, and it's got a soda can behind it with a specific flavor based on the horror movie, or it's not necessarily all horror, but they're doing a horror launch where we can get Frankenstein or Sam or Gizmo on the cans, which is a little collector's thing if anybody's into doing anything like that, especially with Halloween figures. Recently, actually very recently, top of the news, is that pre-orders have arrived for the Evil Dead game, and there are 4 different editions for this Evil Dead game that are going to be coming out. The base game, this is what's included in the collector's edition of Evil Dead. The base game, Season 1 Pass, exclusive Evil Dead steel case, an exclusive Evil Dead, the game's soundtrack covered vinyl. A vinyl's coming with this collector's edition. An exclusive t-shirt, and you get to pick your size. Exclusive 5 art card set, playing card set. The Art of Evil Dead, the Game Deluxe hardcover book. So I'm going into the details about making the game. Exclusive Ash skin for the game, and 2 pre-order Ash in-game outfits as well, which is going to be the S-Mart employee and the Gallant Knight. And a collectible outer box that houses all of this. That is the collector's edition of this Evil Dead game. So honestly, even if you're not wanting to play the game, the collector's edition sounds so worth it. Going for $125.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of convinced. I just want the suits. Oh man, those sodas sound really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
When are those coming out? Is there a release window on those?
The released this April.
Oh, they're already. Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, they'll be released this April.
Okay. Well, guys, anything else that we want?
Limited run of 9,000.
Anything else we want to go out on?
The only other thing that I've got is a couple of birthdays that we almost missed that happened this past week. Which was the birthday of Chloe Moretz. She has acted in a few different horror movies, as well as the birthday of the late, great Leslie Nielsen. That was yesterday. He was Dracula. He was the Dracula.
He was dead and loving it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and other than that, I don't have anything, unless you guys have anything to send us off on.
No, we got like less than 50 seconds. I just want to say thanks everybody for tuning in. Give us all your spooky stuff, all that good stuff, all that jazz. Send us emails. Go to our Facebook, our
Twitter,
Twitter,
Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah, there it is.
Bam, boom, bam.
Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. All right, guys. Keep it spooky out there. Have a good one.
24/7 and Halloween 365.